Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap, and you probably saw that Nvidia just launched their new RTX graphics cards here at Gamescom, and Battlefield 5 is one of the biggest upcoming games that will support the new real-time ray tracing technology. Now, if you watched the Nvidia livestream, you'd have seen a quick walkthrough of what ray tracing can do in Battlefield, which also showed off the new Rotterdam map. Now, I was lucky enough to see a little bit extra beyond the end of that tech demo, where DICE developers came on stage and showed that this was all running in real time. So I got my camera out, I filmed it, I did get permission to use this, so I thought I'd share this with you guys.
We also saw some questions on the internet before. I was reading some comments saying that they were confused. The demo was running slow motion, so how will the game run in real time? And I mean, of course, it's all fine. It's 60 FPS, it's solid, rock solid, you can run around. And a really annoying thing for me as a gamer has really been if I turn the SSR on, you can see how the clip on my weapon cuts off the rays in the reflection if you look to the bottom left. And same thing if I'm aiming down my sights, then if I just find a really good example of this, you can see it cuts off the reflection here, which is just a really annoying thing to focus on. But with ray tracing, it feels a lot more just responsive. It just gets you more immersed in the world, and it feels really good to play with.
We still, in certain areas, need to apply a color distance. So in theory, maybe not everything at all points in time will be reflective, or show objects which are really, really far behind. But what we've seen with the performance that we're having here, that we can push the boundaries much further than what we thought was possible up to recently. So I'm really positive that we can get this to feel super consistent at all times for the player. Of course, implementing all this in a large and complicated engine and very content-driven engine, like what we have in Battlefield 5 and Frostbite, is quite a massive engineering effort to make sure that we can translate and understand that we did not only hit this triangle with this material, but also apply all the lighting models and the entire Frostbite's rendering model onto the reflected objects, including particles. And I think that the particles and the explosions and all this dynamic bits is really worked out really well, I think. And it's also quite performant now.
So that's Battlefield 5, and it's absolutely beautiful. But while I've got you, let me show you what the devs behind Metro Exodus and the new MechWarrior say about ray tracing and the new RTX cards.
So with RTX, we have the ability to determine not simply how surfaces should be lit, but actually how few rays should penetrate down into those deep, dark recesses that give our worlds those atmosphere and that believable richness. If we were to compare that for a moment to a traditional global illumination system, we see that up there in the rafters, it's overlit. It's not as believable. So RTX, RTGI, global illumination, it's the only means we have, or it's the only means that elements in this environment have for communicating to one another how light should bounce between them and how they should illuminate one another. It's very subtle, you may not be able to see it, but like as we've been playing with it, we've noticed these little effects that we didn't plan, that we didn't intend for. They're emergent and they've appeared just out of using the technology. And this happens when you find a new technology like this, that's doing things properly. You know, it's an instinctive thing, you feel that you're on the right track when those little emergent gems appear. And all we really had to do at the end of the day, in order to make this sort of thing happen, was go back to nature, to model light the way it actually behaves in reality. Now this is a massive leap for all of us. We've finally got over what is without a doubt the biggest hurdle in games development history, real-time ray tracing.
Yeah, this kind of attention, this kind of detail you just get now. Some of the other presenters were talking about. It's just I don't even know how much our time it saves a studio like ours. It's really immeasurable. But in a science fiction environment like this, this technology just really works so well for these hard surfaces in this sci-fi environment. We'll focus in on the floor as the mech moves in. We really want to see just the types of reflections that we can now have with the RTX technology. we look a little further down there, there's oil spills, messy technicians. We turn the RTX off. I mean, this is, I guess, my final point here today is just, if you look at the reflection of the glass over there, and let's move a little bit behind the battle mech here and take a look. This is a real easy one. This is a softball one for me here because it just works. And if you turn the RTX off, this would be an example of something where we would just have to change the design of our hangar, probably, rather than trying to, make this work the old way. So.
I have to say, it is really impressive to see what kind of a difference ray tracing on the new RTX graphics cards can achieve when it comes to lighting, reflections, and shadows. It may not make any fundamental changes to how we play the game, although feasibly you could see your enemies in reflections around a corner before they see you. But it really is a big step up in visuals. And of course, this is just the first generation of games on the first generation of real-time ray tracing hardware. So this really is just the beginning. Something I didn't realize though is this ability to turn RTX on and off and this ray tracing stuff won't actually be available at launch. You'll only be able to use it when Microsoft publishes their DirectX update, which will support it and will come in October. Then it's up to the games to support it, whether they do out of the box or with a post-launch patch. So what that means is if you pre-order a RTX 2080 today and you get it on September 20th, obviously it will be a very powerful card anyway, but you won't see the fancy RTX effects until a few weeks afterwards. But also, let me know what you think. Are you impressed by the RTX 2070, 2080 and 2080 Ti? Is ray tracing awesome or just a bit gimmicky? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.